Dan,
Yes.
can you just say that virtue is the radiance of all things coming together?
Yes, coming into being.
Coming
Yes,
into being.
that's right. So it's forward vision, or radiating confidence, peaceful, illuminating the way of discipline, eternal ruler of the three worlds. That's it. So, how does this happen? It happens through coincidence and interdependence. The father principle is the 6 dignified stages of the 6 lines of the hexagram. That process happens through endless series of coincidences. And if you look at your life, you think you planned, but actually everything happened because of a coinkydink. So it's according to the auspicious process of coincidence of time and season. And if you want to think about how that works, think about the 4 seasons. Spring doesn't happen because there's a cause, someone hits a button. It all just coincides into existence. And on the mother lineage, the mutually beneficial interdependence is that sense of brilliance. That things don't arise as individuals, they arise as a net of interconnection. That everything's connected. So those are the raw materials of creating enlightened society.
Dan, question. So when you're talking about coincidences, is that separate and distinct from synchronicity?
No.
Okay.
Synchronicity is a word that Jung used, and I think we use the word tendril a lot in Tibetan Buddhism, and auspicious coincidence or coincidence, but it's the idea that things emerge as codependently with each other. And so you can't actually trace a local cause and effect. You can. You hit the ball with a bat, but even sort of basic Vajrayana logic deconstructs that. But in terms of understanding how our world works, things look like they're locally caused, but you realize that the web of cause and effect is infinitely receding. And so we call it coincidence. The 2 metaphors for the father lineage: heavenly rule rides auspicious coincidence, guiding the imperial chariot of the 6 inscrutable dragons. So it's the energy of the sky, right? That you never really can see, but at the same time you can't see. It's always hidden in the clouds. And the dragon goes into the earth in the winter and comes up in the spring, plays in the sky in the summer, and comes back into the earth in the fall. So that's the cycle of the seasons. And the mother lineage is the mare, is the nature of the earth. She roams the earth without boundary, gentle and accommodating. She's just and fitting and timely, powerful, and fruitful. The idea of that is that the energy of the mare is the sense of complete freedom, of the strength of non-fixation that allows everything to be supported simultaneously. And so the idea is there's this infinite plane of interdependence when you're not stuck, when you're not picking and choosing. It goes on forever. And so that energy of caring for things pervades all of space. Aren't those beautiful images? So the way, how does the father lineage work? Magical becoming and dissolving. You're coming in and falling apart, and you can't see. It's like if you try and find your thought, you can't see where it arises. You look for it when it's there and it's gone, and you can't see where it goes. But nonetheless, it's coming into being and going away. Same with the mother lineage. At first, you're deluded when you're young and immature. You can't understand how to be in the world. And afterwards, loyalty to heaven, to that sense of magical becoming and dissolving, is constant and ordinary. You actually are able to take your seat in the world. For human beings, genuineness is upholding their original nature of heaven's command. To cherish and protect this is to join with the supreme harmony which manifests as just and powerful, which is just to say that you learn to trust your genuineness, which isn't an idea, it isn't a concept, it's an actual personal experience in your heart. And in the mother lineage, in the beginning, you have a lot of support, relative knowledge, people helping you, and when you mature, you actually can be without that kind of support. You can see with your heart. You don't have to hold on to concept. And then finally, the leadership and society, when a leader who manifests with that kind of maturity happens, all things in the 10,000 nations constituencies are joined in harmony. So now we're at the heart of things, that when human beings actually can embody these principles, it's possible to lead in a way that brings everything else into harmony. You can be a fulcrum, a lever, seed crystal to bring beings and situations into harmony. And therefore there's rejoicing. In other words, there's less suffering, there's more joy, that there's peace and fruitfulness, auspiciousness, resonant with earth without boundary, resonant with the physical earth. That how we have joy is not through entertainment and getting more stuff, but by being resonant with the four seasons. So I know that was quite a quick journey. This is the last one. Father lineage is strength and power, and mother lineage is goodness and virtue. So that was a whirlwind tour of the first two and most important hexagrams. But I thought it would be nice to have a taste of the actual text and its meaning. Obviously, you could take any one of those lines and spend hours pondering it, and it would continue to open and open. But that's the treasure trove right there. That's the first two hexagrams. That's the space within which the other 62 hexagrams are activated. That's the world. Those are the two worlds that exist naturally and primordially, and a human being's challenge is how to be a lightning rod, how to be a matrix of relationship that provides an unimpeded ability for those worlds to penetrate each other in human society. So let's have maybe a couple of questions if there are some. Yes?
You must have considered the tantric version of mother and father principles, which are reversed.
How so?
Mother would be feminine, would be heaven, and the father would be earth.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, it's a deeper conversation, but actually you'll see in prajna feminine, sun, which is the sort of sum of interrelationship as luminosity, emptiness, and upaya, father, which is the sense of structure, which we'll see soon, but it happens at a more manifest level. So I'd like to talk with you more about that. I don't think they're actually fundamentally reversed, but certainly on this level it looks like it. So we'll talk further.
One of the discussions presented things in terms of birth to death.
Yes.
We're not concerned with anything after death.
Well, it's interesting. So that's a great question. I think you could say the dream of birth to death. In other words, the experience of birth to death is based on that's being's journey, right? That's sort of that is sort of the what's referred to in the language of the I Ching as crossing the great water. There's this journey. And it's very much what we said about thoughts, is that when you look carefully, you can't find it. But when you're not looking carefully, it really seems to be happening. So birth includes death. As we say, form is emptiness, emptiness itself is form is no other than emptiness is no other than form. So those two things are it's not seen lifespan is not seen as a thing. It's seen as a it's like having the hiccups. Something like that. So, how are we doing on time, by the way? How are we?
7:30.
7:30. So we can go another half hour, maybe, something like that.